Do you know what success to any business is? The guarantee of success. Not this. I'm not talking about this modern type, get rich quick type of businesses. Buy Bitcoin for $1,000, sell it for $10,000. Buy house for $300,000, sell it next year for 400. No, I'm talking about old-fashioned, traditional, classical business. You get an idea, you develop it, you create a product that everyone likes, you sell it to people who are willing to pay for your product, who find it valuable, and repeat it. That type of business. Well, the key to success of a business that is based on long-term presence on market and reputation is people. Without people, without team, you're nothing. With people, you can reach the skies. And the same rules apply to countries. You can consider country as a big, huge, humongous business. Countries, if you can have, if in your country you have citizens that are of entrepreneurial spirit, that have high values, that respect the law and abide by the law, that have family values, then your country is bound to be prosperous. Howdy, howdy. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia. Thank you very much for joining me today. I am streaming live, giving you updates on Russia, my takes, news, things that I find important about my country. And being here in Uzbekistan, I have a great, unique opportunity of looking onto Russia from afar and seeing the big picture. Because when you're sitting in the country inside, sometimes it's difficult to see the big picture, because you're seeing what's around of you. Well, these days I'm seeing a little different picture, and I'm gonna be talking about that. You see, I see that there are two types of countries in the world. First type is the countries that have future, and the second type is the countries that don't have future. The first type, it's really easy to see which countries are which, because the countries that don't have future, they lose their best citizens to the countries that actually have future. The people simply leave, people looking for better life, and they're looking for countries, the places, homes that actually have future. They want a future for their families, for themselves, for their children, and who is there to blame them, So what is the difference between the countries that have future and they don't, and the ones that they don't? Usually it's the living standard. The first thing comes to mind, the living standard. The countries with a future that have future have higher living standard, and the ones that don't have lower living standard. Well, partially true, but that's scratching the surface. That's a shallow look. Let's dig a little deeper. Okay, what is real difference? It's planning. Countries that do not have future, they don't plan. They don't have good planning, long-term planning. And the countries that actually do have future, they plan for a long time, for decades, sometimes for generations. Planning is only possible in the countries, in the social systems that are fair, that are aimed at public good, where there's no or very little abuse of power. Because once there is abuse of power, once this one strong man becomes, the ruler of a country and starts controlling everything, then such a ruler only does things that benefit himself and not for the long term, not he doesn't, usually it's a man, doesn't plan for many years ahead, because he knows, every ruler knows, every dictator knows that he's mortal. Okay. So priority number one in a country that does not have planning, does not have future, is, for a strongman that leads the countries to hang on to power for as long as possible. In the countries who have fair social system, they usually have officials elected. The power is abused in minimal levels, and the governments, are made by people for people, and they actually aim to develop countries. Such governments plan for bettering systems of medical care, education. They aim at making people living healthier and longer lives. They aim at making living standard go higher. They aim at cherishing entrepreneurial spirit and pampering it, increasing amount of businessmen in the countries. They aim at attracting the cream of the crop from other countries that actually don't have such fair social systems and whose people run in search of a better home. Okay. And this is what I'm seeing right now. That's why I'm making this stream. That's why I'm seeing the big picture. I'm seeing that Russia is one of the countries that somewhat had future, and all of a sudden it has lost the future. It has lost everything, not just the future. Planning, fairness, values, everything. Everything has been hit and in some ways lost. So I'm seeing that a lot of people right now in Russia fleeing, leaving, searching for a better life. There are different reasons. It's all mixed up now. A lot of people, mostly males, have run away from mobilization. And the women, their wives, girlfriends, their families, kids following them. Okay. Some people are not under threat of mobilization in Russia, but they have left because they cannot stand the idea of, Russia fighting Ukraine, attacking Ukraine, invading Ukraine. Some have left due to pragmatic reasons. They are seeing that what is happening in Russia is not good. And the worst part is the future. Not just what's happening right now, but future disappears. And we don't really know what's going to happen with the country. That's really, really bad. Different reasons, but the result is the same. There are tens of thousands of refugees from Russia in Uzbekistan. Yeah, it sounds really strange, but it's true. If you walk on the street of Tashkent these days, you will run into Russians everywhere. The stores, government business buildings, cafes, just walking on the streets, everywhere. And most Russians consider Uzbekistan as the transit point. They are bound to other countries. Some actually, believe it or not, but some actually have decided to stay for a long time. Some are seeking for permanent residency from Uzbekistan because if you have a remote job that, for example, you're an IT, a developer, I've seen quite a few people like that, then you really don't care where you reside as long as you have internet access, as long you have as long as you have like some decent environment, quiet room. In Uzbekistan is absolutely beautiful country. It has mountains, it's got fantastic climate, it's got food out of this world, fruits and vegetables, probably best in the world. It has very friendly people, zero crime rate, very safe, fantastic place. Not too many work opportunities. Living standard is low for regular people, but hey, if you have a job that pays you from someplace else, um, great place. So a few people like that are staying, but quite a few are actually looking for a new place, new home, new life. And I've seen quite a few people like that. Again, I've met them. I know them personally through different ways. Some of them I met on the streets. Some of them are members of my morning breakfast club, Russian breakfast club. Every morning we go to a certain cafe and have breakfast. Some of them I met through numerous Telegram and WhatsApp chats. A lot of people have united into virtual communities, and Russians are everywhere. I would like to tell you a few personal stories of the Russians who fled Russia and come. And I would like to tell you a little bit more about each person or family. So, to give you a general understanding, what kind of people flee in Russia? Because when you hear something like, oh, there's brain drain happening, yeah, it's true. Brain drain, huge, bad, tragic, but it's faceless. I want to give a little, well, a few faces to the brain drain, the general brain drain that is happening. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into the faces. Let's start with a very nice family. Every person who I'm going to be talking about is absolutely amazing. Okay, they amaze me in different ways. I like most of them. There's only one person who I disliked, who started telling me about, that what Russia is doing in Ukraine is actually good, and all of that. I just told him, hey, why don't you just go back to Russia, and then that's it. But that was the only person out of probably a couple hundred people that I have met, and exceptions happen. So every single one of the people that I met, absolutely amazing. I'll start off with a family. That I met a guy at the breakfast club. He showed up and he was restless, just like all of us. We were restless at first because we didn't really know what was going on. So he showed up, he was restless. There were quite a few of us at that day. Nice weather. We were sitting outside, about 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 something Celsius. And I think it was one of the weekends. So no worries. We're just sitting there for a couple hours, chit chat, kick back, and he shows up and he's a little nervous. And then he sees people just like him all around. And he relaxes. He exhales. He starts asking questions, saying, hey, you know what, I'm having a problem with bank account. And people say, hey, don't worry, we have you covered. We're going to tell you. You're going to go do this and this and this and go to a different place. And then I see that he relaxes. So he introduced himself. He ended up coming to Breakfast Club every single morning. An entrepreneur from a large city in the Urals in Russia left Russia the second day when the mobilization was announced. Middle-aged, close to 40. Had a successful business in his hometown, or home city. Um, Built himself a house, had an apartment, so it property. No mortgages, owned everything. Had nice income streams from different services. He was providing informational services, helping people get visas to different countries, travel, sort of a travel agency, doing translations to different languages and stuff like that. Very energetic guy. Can't sit in one place. He just gotta talk all the time, come up with things all the time. That very, 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 very energetic fella. I could see that he was missing his family a lot, his wife and a kid, and they joined him later. Oh boy, he's happy. But 7 days after he came to Uzbekistan, guess what he did? He started a business. He saw tons of Russians around him who were having problems. They were having needs. They didn't know how to open bank account. They didn't know how to get a visa to other countries. But that's his business. That's what he has been doing all his life, basically. And then he went and he opened a company here in Uzbekistan. And he started providing services. He asked me how to promote here locally. He asked other people. I introduced him. I made some connections. Not 100% my fault, so to speak, but I just showed him the way, and he did it himself. And he's fine. He's fine in Uzbekistan. He has an apartment he's renting. His wife and child came over and living with him. Family is united. And they're looking for a school for their girl. I'm looking at them. And, when I look at them at the breakfast clubs, I just have one thought. That is a huge loss to Russia. Those people are gold. They're people that any country is founded upon. They're people that move their countries forward. The people that care about future. Okay? They live by the law, by Christian values, by decency. They have common sense, and they're asset to any single country out there. Another person, a senior developer, very nice, relaxed guy. He's been a developer for the past 25 years, like since the late 90s. He knows everything about programming. He's been acting as an expert to all people who would come and ask him questions about programming, about IT, about anything. He's so laid back, he's relaxed, and he just answers just like that, not even thinking twice. He left Russia a few days after mobilization was announced on September 21st. Packed everything up, went to Minsk just to be safe, and then boarded a plane. He just caught a cab to Minsk from Moscow. Boarded a plane and flew to, I think he flew from one of the, just like me, to one of the neighboring countries, and then across the border into Uzbekistan, settled in Tashkent. All he does, he works from morning till night. He doesn't have a family. He's getting close to 40. All he does, he works. He works. He comes for breakfast with his computer. Sometimes he has a message in the messenger. He opens the computer and sends information to a client, because his clients are from all over the world, the United States, Australia, and then he's settling in Uzbekistan. He doesn't want to move any further because he feels very comfortable. He said he's going to live here for a year, couple years. Law-abiding guy, nice fella, always ready to reach out and give a hand to other people. Generates lots of taxes. I look at him and I say, well, what did he do that Russia chewed him up and spit him out? What's such a terrible thing he did? He's never been arrested. He's just nice guy overall. Nice speaking to him every single morning. Fantastic fellow. He is gold. He's the foundation that any country can be built on. Huge loss to Russia. Another family, another entrepreneur, and his wife is attorney. I actually heard of the woman when I lived in Russia because she owned one of the largest copyright law firms in Russia, and her cases were very, very public, very big. They made news. And her husband is an entrepreneur, a trader. He buys things, he sells things, he imports, he exports. Also so full of energy, also so full of ideas. We met, and the first thing he started asking me, how can we make money? What can we do? Do you know anything about exporting this? Do you know where to find this or this mineral? It was actually very, very thought provocative, very interesting. And his wife was so smart. I mean, she's one of the best Russia's attorneys in the field of copyright. And what else can I say? Nice people. The people that I found common grounds with right away. We stuck in. It's easy when you start talking to people. It's either pleasant or not. Just talking to them right from the beginning, and it was pleasant talking to them. Just meeting them and starting discussing things. Their daughter is 7 years old, and she just went to the first grade. They relocated here absolutely permanently. Perhaps Uzbekistan, perhaps in the future other country, but they're out of Russia because they disagree what Russia is doing. They are so passionate about their daughter. They found a school for her. They were telling me about the school, and then they heard I have a 6-year-old, and they started giving me information about that school, and I might actually use it, I was looking at them and I was just saying to myself, what a loss to Russia. What did Russia do? Did the Russian people understand who they lost? What kind of people they lost? That family, that couple, and the daughter is absolute gold, and it's such a huge loss to Russia. There's an engineer. Actually, I knew him. We ran into. He joined my breakfast club. I didn't know who he was, and there's a rule: we introduce each other, the new people that come for the first time. They introduce themselves, and we briefly tell about who we are, when we left, and what we do for a living. And when the guy told me that what he does for a living, I was instantly like, uh-oh, I know this. I've heard this music before. He's an engineer working for a company that I know, partner, back in Russia, was our partner. And he is in the business of constructing power plants, solar power plants, based on photovoltaic technology. They're building, his company building a couple solar power plants here. And in Russia, we subcontracted some of the work for his company. So I know everyone well there. I didn't know that fellow particularly, but I knew where he was coming from. Good guy. His family is Russia. Misses his family, a child and daughter. Very quiet, law-abiding, very pleasant to talk to, very respectful. I'm not that old, but he looks and treats me like I'm an elder, Left Russia shortly after mobilization was announced, just to be safe than sorry. talked to management in his company, and was transferred into Uzbekistan. Works all the time, from morning till night. He comes to the breakfast club only on weekends. I look at him and I say to myself, that definitely a huge loss for Russia. That guy is gold. And Russia, you gotta be crazy to lose people like that. Not even to lose, but to actually alienate, push away from you. Crazy. Another person, a single guy in his mid-30s, a very shrewd defense attorney. All kinds of different, not just one single type of law, but like general law. Comes from a region of far east of Russia. Fantastic guy. Very quiet, very smart. Talking to him is like treating yourself intellectually, if you know what I mean, we usually, after we meet, we usually take walks, and just walking along with this fella is actually very pleasant. He's treating this place, Uzbekistan, as transit, not as destination. And he is going to go to another country to get education as a lawyer, attorney in another country. Most likely it's going to be one of the Western countries, perhaps European country. So he will make another way of becoming an attorney from zero. But he will become an attorney, and he'll become a good one. And he'll have a job, and he'll be helping people. But not in Russia. In a different country, And it's actually quite unbelievable how Russia loses people like that. A food processing engineer came with his family. They have a toddler, a beautiful wife. They're not too old. They're in mid-20s. The guy has high education, very quiet. He's very good with food. He knows how to freeze food, how to handle food, how to transport food, anything that is about food. Turns out that in Uzbekistan, people like him are needed. Uzbekistan is going through a phase of growth, and pretty much anyone is needed. If you have high education, if you have great experience, if you're in construction engineer, if you're a doctor, a teacher, anyone, you can find a job here. It doesn't pay much, but hey, you know what? You can legalize here. You can get the paperwork, and you can get a real, respected in the community job in the society. And anyway, he found a job in Uzbekistan just like that in 2 weeks. They told me that they left on the 24th. They just jumped into a car and drove. They spent 4 days stuck in traffic jam while crossing the Russian Kazakhstan border. Okay, and 4 days with a young baby. Said it was hell. Said it was absolute hell, but they made it. They drove into Kazakhstan. Then they drove to Uzbekistan, rented an apartment here, and at first they thought everything's gonna be over in a couple weeks, 3 weeks. He took a vacation initially, and then when he found out that it's not going to end soon, he called up his work and he quit over the phone. They sent him paperwork, he signed, scanned, sent it back, that type of thing. So it was very sad. He said very sad thing. But he found a job very fast, within days after quitting his old one. They're sitting in Uzbekistan. They're actually very glad that they're here. This country is peaceful. There's peace here. They're treated very well. He's treated very well at work. The baby is getting decent quality medical service. The wife is happy. She is an interpreter. She knows German quite well, and then she interprets from Russian to German and back and forth. She also has high education, and I think she either has found a job already or is in negotiations. So they're doing pretty good. And I look at them, they're Christian, they're Eastern Orthodox. Most of them are actually. Most of people I know Eastern Orthodox. I look at them and I tell to myself, you know what? Holy cow, that's such a huge long-term loss for Russia, because this family is gold. They just want to have good life for themselves. They want to grow a child. They want to have another child in the future. That's what the country should be based on, upon people like them. And they've been chewed up and spit out. It's crazy. Another person, high-tech serial startup founder, also famous guy in the startup community. He's quite young. I think he's around 30, but he's been doing startups since he was 15. Okay. He's one of the owners of, well, it's too personal, but his product is used here in Uzbekistan widely. Okay. I'm using his product, and I advertise I used to advertise, through, well, I wanted to spread the word about Russian English Club, Russian, Russian Breakfast Club. And I was informing people through one of his products, and he actually showed up himself. And he said, well, you know what? You've been putting information in this place, and I am the owner. I found it. I just wanted to show up to see who does that every morning and who invites people. And we had a nice conversation. I met the guy, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. He's founded so many startups in 15 years. He sold them. Most of them are still in operation. Most of them are known to many Russians. He's created so much value to my country, Russia. He's generated so much in tax revenue. He's given so many jobs in Russia in the past, over the years. And guess what? He left Russia. Uzbekistan is a transit point. He stayed here for a couple of weeks, and he went on to Southeast Asia. And his family is going to meet him here. He's left for good. He's going to be doing the same thing, only not for Russia and not in Russia. He's gone. This is a tragedy. Such a huge loss for Russia, and such a great find to another country where he's going to and where he's going to settle. And then my last example for today is this couple that I talked about yesterday. The brain surgeon, the neurosurgeon, and his wife. I met his wife today. After yesterday's stream, I've been flooded with advice through comments, through Patreon, through email, and there's so much good advice. I met him today, and he asked me if I didn't mind if he brought his wife over. And she's a very lovely girl. She's a little younger than 30. And guess what? She's also a doctor. She's a pediatrician, children's doctor, and then her second specialization is radiologist. And she's also looking for a job here in Uzbekistan. Like I said, that fella, he got a job already doing brain scanning, sonar scanning or something like that. And she's also looking for a job. So I made calls to my friends, and hopefully I have tons of doctors here that I know well. Hopefully, she'll get a job for the time being. But we met, and the guy told me more of his story, and it's actually quite amazing. Now, on top of everything I said yesterday in the stream, if you want to learn more about his story, life story, how he, a brain surgeon, left Russia because he was kind of forced to, go and watch yesterday's stream. But not only he went to school in Russia, he graduated medical school, medical university, and graduated. He also did uh, post post graduation, like higher level of education program in Europe, in either Switzerland or Luxembourg. I'm not sure. The cream of the crop brain surgeons from all over Europe and the United States come to that program annually, and they finish. They study for some time, and then they take exam, and that's why he needed to speak English, and he speaks English very well, fluently. So not only he has education in Russia, but also in Europe. He was bound to become one of top Russia's brain surgeons. I'm judging from much of comments, much of not comments, but energy that coming out of him. He's such an energetic guy. He's full of drive, so to speak. He's just fantastic guy, and his wife is also a doctor. I was talking to one of my friends, a doctor friends here in Uzbekistan, one of the top doctors, and I told them the story, okay, because I'm exploring all the opportunities. And my friend said, listen, if they want to stay here in Uzbekistan, I can get him a job as a brain surgeon tomorrow, but whether he wants to or not. And he doesn't, because he's as a transit for him. He wants to go to Australia, the United States, or Canada. But my friend, Uzbek doctor friend, he was in awe. He was speechless. He said, do they understand in Russia what they're doing? They're losing people like that. He was asking me, like, do I know what it takes to replace this guy? So many years, so many efforts, so difficult. Russia loses him for good. It's not gonna replace him, okay? And so it's speechless. This couple sitting right in front of me a few hours ago, they're pure gold. They're gold for my country. But unfortunately, for some unknown, crazy reason, my country chewed them up and spit them out. And a lot of Russians who remain in Russia, they say, oh, you know what, not a big deal. We will prevail. We will continue living as we have been living before. They're not going to get us, that type of thing. And I simply know that those people don't understand who they have lost. Because once you have a house with a strong foundation, no matter what happens to the walls, a hurricane comes, the roof is taken out, but if you have the foundation, everything can be rebuilt fast. What's happening in Russia now is the foundation is simply disappearing brick by brick. The bricks running away, looking for better places. And this, if it's not a tragedy, then what tragedy is? If it's not the recipe and the guarantee for economic collapse, then what economic collapse is? My dear friends, thank you very much. That's been my message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you liked it. It was a little longer, but that's an important and emotional message. So thanks for listening. Thanks for giving me a chance. I will turn on the comments now. Let me know what you think, as usual. Thank you. I have someone special who would like to say hi to you. My mom is right here. She said she wants to show up and say hi to everyone. I've decided to make another stream with her. It was a great experience. Everyone loved it. We're gonna do something different, not perhaps in the house, but someplace, someplace in Tashkent this Saturday. So if you're not a sponsor and if you're not a Patreon, so please join up and you'll be able to participate. And this is mom.
Hello, all.
Good. Ниже, пожалуйста, в камеру смотри. Что?
Hello, all.
Okay. So howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you? How are you? Как дела? Good. Good.
Good.
Микрофон.
Good.
Good. Okay. Thank you, mom. Goodbye, she says. Uh, hang on one second. Everyone says howdy, howdy. Mods, thank you so much. Thanks for coming back again. You're fantastic. The best mod team. I think it's safe to say in the world. The usual suspects. Howdy, 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 everyone. Great to see you. Thank you. Not too much time left, about 15 minutes. Hey, the message is important. As usual, put your comments and questions in caps. If you want me to notice your message easier, then put Inside Russia after @ sign, so it appears in a large orange box in front of my eyes. Black Ed, the grand legend, was there. Here, hi mom. Thank you so much, Black Ed. Thank you very much. Scene Lester 007, thanks for sharing these stories. It is a lesson for all countries and companies. Thank you so much. I have not shared enough because it's really difficult to explain in words what is happening. I wish you could see it with your own eyes. This is very tragic. This is very sad, but at the same time, it's a very unique situation. Perhaps that's what happened after World War II in Germany. I don't know, but I think that's that kind of scale of things that has happened. Perhaps that what happened in Europe after World War One, when lots of people were fleeing to the United States seeking for better life. But this is the scale of this happening right now, right here, and it touches everything. It concerns Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Georgia, even Kyrgyzstan, even Tajikistan. Those countries were so undeveloped and they're so Russians didn't even know they existed, okay? And now Russians relocate there. And then they're seeking, this is just, if you get to Tashkent, it's boiling. It's boiling with people, with stories, with souls. People come here seeking for, some just don't understand what happened and how they got here. There's just so much adrenaline trying to get out of Russia, and there's so much going on. Agnes, thank you so much. Greetings to you and to your wonderful mom. As for the message, that is very sad, incredibly sad. Agnes, thank you so much. I want to tell you this. Do not, and not just you, but like everyone who's watching me, do not make your own mistakes. Learn from ours. Jim Smith, thank you. You say you are unlucky. I think you're the luckiest guy in the world. So much love and a wonderful mom. Jim, I'd sometimes say I'm unlucky, and you're absolutely right. That is a sin to say that I'm unlucky, because I am the luckiest guy in the world. I have best wife in the world. I have kids. Everyone's healthy. I have mom. I'm sitting in a nice apartment that I can afford. It's wonderful. I can afford any kind of food in any quantities. By the way, I haven't eaten anything today, and I'm in uh, fasting mode for next 4 days. But I can afford any food I want. Okay, and then I have this community, you. I have so much support. I have friends. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much. Reasons, it said, when I was in Novosibirsk, I was looking for a neurologist, and it was easier to get in to see one in the US. Can I ask how prevalent is lying in Russia? Not sure what you mean. Lying in Russia. What? I didn't get the second part. If you're talking about propaganda, yeah, it's all there is lying. Okay, lies, 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 and I target the lies in my streams all the time. So I know you hear all the time. So you've seen it before about the lying. So vranyo everywhere. Just to speed things up, I'm going to be reading just the questions with Inside Russia or in caps. Lovely to see you, Rachel. Thank you so much. I will say hi to mom and I'll show after the stream. Thank you. Ironwood, great to see you. Do Russians know how bad the propaganda internet army that Russia leaders are working with in China are making Russia look? They're 50 Cent and a Wolf Warrior and work for the CCP. At this point, it's been going on for such a long time. This is my motto in life, okay? In everything that happens in my life, this is my responsibility. Nothing is out of my control. If I didn't want something to happen to me in the past, I had all the opportunities to avoid it. I make these things happen, all things in my life, good and bad, okay? If Russians are not seeing how bad lying and propaganda is in Russia right now, it's their fault. Because they've had so much time to find things out, to learn things, to ask questions, there are so many things happen. Like take Putin. He says one thing, he does another thing. He says one thing, he does another thing. All these people on the internet, there's a huge army of trolls. They start supporting every word he says, So if Russians at this point do not understand what's going on, it's their fault. Because they say if you are taken advantage once, that's your fault. That's not your fault, that's someone else's fault. But if it happens for the second time, that's your fault. Okay. So hope I answered your question. Lionel, howdy. Greetings from South Wales. Thank you, Lionel. I read your message today on Patreon. Thank you. Harry Potnan, howdy, Bob S. I'm glad that you received what you received. Sam K, howdy from my mom. Couple super chats from Luke. Firstly, historical question: hasn't the brain drain occurred a few times with Russia, or the use of gulags and murders under Stalin? Luke, spot on. I've said it many times. I've said it like 2 or 3 streams. I addressed that issue. This is that wave number 6, but this is the biggest one so far. All 20th centuries, there has been brain drain from Russia. It's like someone up there just takes the best Russians and just moves them around all over the world. The United States, Canada, Europe, time after time. And now, time number 6 has come. So, thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Eddie, last time I see you so happy people in Kherson. That was in 89 in Berlin after the fall of the wall. Eddie, you know how much of a coverage of that was on the Russian TV? Big fat zero. I saw that too. And I mean, that is happiness, right? But Russians don't think so. They have excluded Kherson from all the maps. If you go to the official maps, like Kherson is not there, like it never was a part of Russian Federation. But wait a second, it was. You annexed it. You made laws. You made it official. You said Russia is there to stay forever, for good. We're not gonna let it go. My God. This is absolutely crazy. Anyway, thanks for the support. You're absolutely right. Don't get me going on that. Black Cat, let mom get her nails done, sir. If I tell her that, she will start freaking out. Say, no, are my nails bad? Where's it seen on computer and stuff like that? So I'll do it quietly. Thank you so much. Luke, secondly, have you considered starting a recruitment agency matching Russians working remotely with Western companies? One or two thoughts. I actually tried to vacuum clean Russians who fled to Europe engineers for my company a few months back. Didn't work out. I talked to a couple guys who actually are doing that. They're looking for engineers from the field of energy generation who have fled Russia. It is possible, but I have not. This is not. I just don't have time for that. Agnes, thank you so very much, and please a shout out for mods, our strongest angels with sharpest keyboards. My gosh, I like that. Strongest angels with sharpest keyboards. Lorna, mommy, could you please write it down? We'll use that. Best of the best. They are. And Bob and Harry and Amir and Black Cat. Andrew Baker, thank you so much. Appreciate the support. Lena P, I love your mother. Thank you so much. It makes two of us. Heidi, thank you. Frank in Texas, howdy, and goodbye. I just saw you leaving. Lang Leach, Constantine, the easiest way for brain surgeon friend to move to Australia by getting an Aussie immigrant consultant in Perth or Sydney. I used the help of immigrant consultant for migrating to West Australia. Well, if you could send me a link to my mail to one of the consultants, that really appreciate it. Well, so far, I'd like to give you a little update. Amazingly enough, I was accused of lying in the comments, saying that the surgeon is fake, and I just made him up. A couple people, I think, said that. It's just incredible. Anyway, I met the guy. I looked at this overwhelming support and all that information. I wrote things down, and I called him up, and he's such a willing guy. He's willing to do anything. I asked him, like, can you meet me at 6? And he goes, where to go? I'll meet you any place, anytime, you will tell me. So he had a shift at the medical hospital today, and then we met after his shift. He brought over wife. He discussed things. So far, I've been given so many. Thank you so much. This just shows that this is a human spirit. Okay, I'm overwhelmed. I'm gonna talk about that later in a different stream, but let me tell you, you folks have been absolutely great. If there's the best human spirit out there, that is in this community. Okay, It's fantastic. The guy could not believe when he saw. I showed him emails. I showed him my scribblings. He was overwhelmed. I think his wife was thinking I would ask money exchanging my services, and they couldn't believe I'm doing it just for the sake of it. Okay, and I told them, hey, I'm the commission. I'm not asking money. I will never ask. The reason I'm doing it because I just want to help you out. That's it. So that there are so many ways. He's getting his paperwork ready, like he's writing his story in English. He's getting his diploma. He's all different, like he has many diplomas and stuff like that, qualifications. And I think the closest we are right now is there's the governor of Newfoundland, Canada, who's been publicly going out and saying that he wants to bring doctors into Newfoundland, and there are like easement of procedures, and basically this is his contact, and we're gonna write him personally a letter saying, hey, this is the story. The guy is such a brain surgeon with such credentials, and he's in Uzbekistan, willing to move to Newfoundland, and not just this is knocking on one door, but we're gonna be knocking on many doors, and we'll see which one it opens up. But I think that's the closest take right now. Okay, for what I am seeing at least. But this consultant, if you know a link, if you know a personally a consultant, you can recommend one. I would really appreciate it. Brian, I'm seeking export-import business. We here open. Not sure what you message to me. I mean, I'm glad that you open for import-export business. Did you see the missing raccoon in Kherson? No, I didn't see one. Blue-eyed wolf. Russians have always backed and supported abusive paternal figures who don't care about them. Seems to be a tradition. Yep. A couple streams before, I made a point about good Tsar, bad Tsar. Devin, 33, thank you so very much. Thank you. Ironwood, yes, you did. They act like Russians and speak gibberish to the West. I don't like them because, as you know, I like Russians. I'm not sure what I did. Good question, and that's going to be the last question. I'm going to take Diana Smith. The people you have described are skilled and maybe have resources. It leaves me very concerned about those who had less. Did they get out, and are they coping? Good question. Some people. You see, when I started the Breakfast Club, I saw different people around me. I saw people pinching pennies. I saw people spending frivolously. And I figured that some got out with no money or with very little money. And that's the fact. There are some people like that. And I started off saying, hey, please come and meet me for breakfast. The breakfast itself is not very expensive. I pay for coffee 25,000 Sum, that's $2.50. And I pay usually for oatmeal $2, 20,000 Sum. So that's $4.50. And then I get a tea on top of that. That's another $1.50, $6. And I leave a couple dollars of tip. That's not a lot. But some people, and I go to a fancy place here in Tashkent because the breakfasts here can be had for less. So invite everyone to a fancy place that's on the higher side, on the higher price side. But in return, I offer people, if they can't afford it, still, they should come and I'll cover their expenses. I'll pay for the coffee, for the food, no problem whatsoever. People like that have showed up. Not too many, but they have showed up. I still spend quite a bit of money. I cover tips for waiters, I treat them well and stuff like that. But let me tell you the answer to this question. The ones that they really wanted to get out of Russia, even without means, they got out. They got out. And it's really tough to find yourself in Uzbekistan without money. But you know what? It's much better to find yourself without money in Uzbekistan rather than in Ukraine with a gun and an order to shoot Ukrainians. I'd choose Uzbekistan anytime. And the thing is, you get here, there are people who you can ask help from. This is a very unique situation, and people are so much more open than they were in Russia to helping others. I guarantee if you come to a community gathering, an event, and you stand and say, hey, I don't have any money, I don't have a place to stay, I don't have food, I need help. And you know what's going to happen? People will get help. Someone will say, it's happened before. Someone will say, well, you know what? I have a spare bed in my room, in my apartment, in my house, or whatever. Well, you know what? Here's some food for you. Oh, we possibly can send you there. We have some job there and stuff like that. It has happened in front of my eyes, and I call these miracles. Okay, I personally brought a person from Russia all the way from middle of nowhere, from Taiga, and the person landed here in Tashkent, and I ended up paying for his airfare and transportation, and you know why? Because he reached out and asked, and someone else reached out for him and asked. When there is a will, there is a way. Okay, and if you get stuck in Russia and you don't make any efforts, and you don't just sit on your butt and don't do anything, then, who's there to blame but yourself? I hope I answered your question. Lorraine, thank you so much. There's a super chat from John Makamatsu. Buy some lunch. John, I'm going without food for the next 4 days, so I will buy lunch after. How about that? I'll take a rain check on that. Thank you, Andrew Baker. Thank you so much. I hope I didn't miss any super chats. Time is up. I know I'm finishing up. Devin 33. Andrew Asen. Thank you so much from Canada. I know. Just don't even go there. Thanks for the support. I am with you on that. This would have been funny if it wasn't so tragic, My friends, I would like to finish the stream by praying, as usual, inviting you to pray with me. Thank you very much for giving me a chance. I hope you found this information valuable and interesting, or perhaps not valuable but interesting, or perhaps valuable or not interesting, Either one of those is good for me. So I would like to ask everyone to join and pray. If you're religious, non-religious, believer, non-believer, there's not such a thing in this community. We're just people, human beings, no matter where we are in Tajikistan, Iran, the USA, Australia, Europe, Russia. If you're here, then please show your love for people, show your support, and just wish them well. Wish them, if you don't want to call it prayers, call it wishings. Call it, send them love, send them good vibes, good energy, good luck. Let's do it. Thank you so much. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us this wonderful day. Thank you for putting food on our tables. Thank you for giving us roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. And thank you for giving us opportunities, offering help through different events and different people when we really need help. Thank you. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy, and please give us wisdom to raise them the way that when they grow up, they will make this place a better world. They will never fight with each other. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Please do whatever it takes to stop the bloodshed. Reach out to people who are responsible or and capable. Touch their hearts. Show them the magnitude of disaster and tragedy that has happened so they get terrified. Fill their loves with hot with fill their hearts with love and give them forgiveness. If they're really upset or angry at others, please give them forgiveness so they turn around and make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Send angel to every single person in Ukraine to keep them from away from harm's way. So not one more single drop of blood is shed any longer. Please help all people in Ukraine who have been affected by this terrible tragedy and disaster. Give them, I always ask for you to give them strength to go through, forgiveness, love, happiness, recovery. But I don't really know whether I'm asking right things. Please give them anything what needed to be given in their situation. You know better. You know better what happened to them. You know them better than I do. And you know much better what to give them. So I'm asking you just to help them and provide everything they need. Please answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Please help my country, Russia. Send an army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael in a shiny armor full of light, to get rid of, to misplace, to kick out the demons that have hijacked my country. Please make those angels run my country again. Make it righteous again, peaceful again, and make it good again. God bless everyone who's helping Ukrainians, who opens their wallets, their hearts, their houses, who opens their prayers. God bless them. Please help everyone who's traveling. Please send help their way. Please help people who are looking for a new home and trying to build a new future. Send them such home and give them opportunity to start building their new lives and give them opportunity to make happy lives, please. I'm also asking for women, pregnant women, who are making a decision whether to keep or not their babies. Reach out and talk to them so they make the right choice, please. Thank you for everyone in this community. Thank you for this community, for everyone who has joined us. This place is the quintessence of the human spirit. There's so much love, there's so much support, there's so much friendship here. By bringing us all together, you're really giving us hope, and you're giving me hope, definitely. Thank you so much for making this a reality, and thanks for everyone who joins and prays with us, and please help answer everyone's prayer who is praying with us right now or watching us pray, and make everyone's wish come true. I would like to mention a few people who need your help real bad. They are Rafaela from Anna, Priscilla, Michelin, Martin, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Joanne, Donald, Allison, Dave Moyes, Liz, I found Waldo, Deborah, Isabel, Janice Burgess, Maureen M. and her sister, Bruce, Kayleen, Terry Scruggs, Michael, Thomas, Tony, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, Mr. Hanson, Heidi Howitz, Golden Griffon, Robert Morgan's sister, Jacob, Umel and Jennifer, Andrea, Rob, MTG Gaming Bob, Ashley and family, Angelic at Life, Matt from Canada, Mr. Dean Spooner, and his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Barry Reading's sister, Leslie Fleming, Adam Oliver, Lisa Kumrian, Ian, N2K, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Buzz, Jean-Paul, Paula, Michael Milkevitz, Marlene, Susan S., Fiona, Alan, Freddie, Sabrina, Paul Binns, Pritchard's father, Rudy Kaisley, Richard, Mallory M., Dirk Misler and his father, James Rhodes, Jess Terry, Brittany S., Lars Henrik, Bridget Apley, Hannah and her children, may Scott Nesbitt's sister rest in peace, Blackad, Cindy Braddock, Richard Burris, Ace, Scan family's grandson, Barb, Grace, Highwayman, asking to regain his faith, Vladimir Stomin, SC2216, and daughter Lori, Nelly and Arkady from Nikolaev, Yuri, China Bill, Brian McManus, Velinda, Alan Sneeze, Doug and his brother Steve, Harry's family, and there are 4 children, special children I would like to mention specifically. They're Cadence, Maverick, Sebastian, and Coulter. They need help and their families need help. Thank you so very much. Our Lord Jesus Christ, amen. Thank you, my friends. Please tune in tomorrow. There will be an interesting message. I'm going to be talking about the man himself, Vladimir Putin. What I think is going to happen to him. We'll see. Well, thank you so very much. Before I finish, usual Carthago delenda est. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.